All right, so there's a slide in number 18. Okay, and the slide says there's a ratio 3 to 5 from the height of the stairs to the length of the, not the slide, but the length from the bottom of the slide to the stairs or to the ladder. Okay. So it's 3 by 5, meaning we don't know what this length is, but it has to be a ratio of 3 to 5. Okay? But we do know that we have a slide, and the slide is 8 feet long. So we want to know how tall to make the ramp to set this on. Because we don't want it too steep, and we don't want it too not too steep, right? So we want to make it too shallow. So we want to make it just that right steepness. So 3 to 5 is what they are calling for. So we need to know how much of a height we need to put on this and the length of the ramp to set this on. And then we can drill it into it and it'll be good to go, right? All right, so that means that 3x squared plus 5x squared should equal 8 squared. Because it's just another Pythagorean theorem. And I tell you guys, when I was working on my deck out back for the pool, a friend of mine, Zach, he's a carpenter. And we would constantly, all right, bust out your 3, 4, 5. You know your 3, 4, 5. You know your everything's 3, 4, 5. Everything's 3, 4, 5. Because to keep that thing square, to keep this room square while you're building it, if you don't have, level where you're putting everything out square and everything, you got to do things kind of, with your brain. And the easiest way to do things is with the 3, 4, 5 triangle. So you would go out and go 3 feet out, 4 feet out, and you'd make sure that it was 5 feet to each part of that wire. And if it was 5 feet to that wire, you knew you had a perfect square. Okay? So you would do that on all your edges of your deck, because you need your deck to be square. Does that make sense? Okay? And you want your foundation to be the most square. Okay? So we did that a lot. So this actually comes in handy with actual carpentry, So kids say, when will I ever use this? This is one of the few things that I teach that you can actually use every time you remodel your house. I mean, literally. Okay? So, anyways, so if I want to know this ratio 3 to 5, then it has to take this into consideration. So 3x squared is 9x squared. 5x squared would be 25x squared equals 64. So what that means is that I have 36x squared is equal to 64. Now, if you remember your math from algebra, we're going to subtract 64. We're going to get 36x squared minus 64 equals 0. Now, this is a difference of 2 squares. Okay? This is a perfect square. This is a perfect square. Those look like rectangles. Pretend they're squares. Okay, so what is the square root of 36? What times what is 36? 6. So 6x is the perfect square. What's the perfect square of 64? How do we get to 64? Oh, we did. Never mind. Oh, yeah, we did. 8, right? I thought I did something wrong again. Okay? There we go. Okay? And so now we're going to solve for x. We're going to add 8 to both sides, right? We get 6x is equal to 8. We're going to divide by 6. And we're going to get x is equal to 8 over 6. Okay? And so 2 goes into both of those, 4 and 3. So x is equal to 4/3. Alright, so how am I going to know this side? This side is going to be 5 times 4/3. So 5 times 4/3 is going to be 20/3. Right? And this side is going to be 4/3 times 3, which is 4. So your height is going to be 4 feet. This will be 8 feet. But how many times does 3 go into 20? 6 with 2 left over, right? So 6 2/3 feet. So to make this thing square so that it'll sit nicely on it and it won't fall over, you need to make a base that's 6 2/3 feet long, a height for the ladder that's 4 feet high, and you will have a ratio of 3/5, okay, for your slope. That means it goes down 3 and runs 5. Your slope is 3/5. Does that make sense? Rise over run. Okay? And that something like that will definitely be on the state test. Okay?